Hey, sports fans, Louis Diamond back live from Las Vegas with another BettorCenter report for you for Wednesday morning, afternoon with Major League Baseball. And let's get right down to it and get you started with the first game going early today, 3:40. Actually, it's the second game. We already have one game being played, and we're obviously going to scratch that game from the board, but 12:40 Pacific time, 3:40 Eastern time. The Cincinnati Reds will be playing their last game against the San Diego Padres. Garrett on the mound for the Reds. Chacin on the mound for the Padres. Chacin opens up $1.15, and he gets heavily steamed up to as high as $1.35. The total gets a lot of steam on the over. 8.5 was the number. 8.5 over 20 was the number to open. 9.5 under is the current number. So, obviously, we got some steam on the over. Had it for you yesterday. Wound up pushing on that one. Did like it today, but I think we're a little bit behind the 8 ball here with this over at 9.5. The Reds, though, but we're not behind the 8 ball with the Padres. Even at $1.30 or even 35, I'll still play them today. The Reds 3-8 in San Diego. So, obviously, you know, and I've been saying it for 2 days, looking for a reason to bet San Diego. Found the reason the other 2 nights ago, took advantage last night, going to do it again here today. The last 19 times these two teams have played, Padres have won 14 of them. But the Reds are 4-1 versus a right-handed starter, but they're 7-19 on the road, so I'm always looking for a reason to bet against the Reds on the road. And 5 straight losses for them, and when Garrett's on the mound, 4 straight losses for him there. Sure, the Padres are 3-7 their last 10 overall, and 1-7 versus a lefty, but still going to roll with him here today, as I definitely believe the Padres are a play at minus $1.30. That is an executive game for me today. It's a 10-unit play. Just a little recap on yesterday's games. We wound up pushing with the Padre game over, but we did hit a nice 3-team parlay with Washington, Boston, and the Dodgers paying us 2-1. So nice little score. Hopefully you took advantage of that yesterday. Hopefully you'll take advantage of the Padres today. And the over, still a little bit of a play. I'm definitely worried about the 9.5. And Garrett has gone over 4 straight road starts, 5 straight overall. Padres 9-1-1 to the over. So they're going to get steamed every day right now because they're on an overrun. So you got to play them early. Chacin 3-0-1 his last 4 starts, but head-to-head 5-1-1 to the under the last 5 meaning. And Ted Barrett is behind the plate today. He's 4-1-1 to the under. So definitely a play with San Diego. Possibly a little something with the over. Had the over earlier. So when I tell you these things, play them on the overnight, guys. Probably going to have to play that one on the overnight over again tomorrow. So next game on the board. Going to be the Kansas City Royals. They are at the San Francisco Giants. Hamill on the mound for the Royals, and Cueto on the mound for the Giants. Cueto opens up $1.70 favorite, still pretty much $1.70 favorite, and the total opens up at 7.5, and we get a little steam. They're now 7.5 under, minus 15. The Royals have won 4 of the last 5 interleague road games, 5 of the last 7 road games, and 5 of the last 7 overall. So something that the Royals haven't done too much this season. Got a little spark of hotness. But Hamill, 2-10 his last 12 starts. That's not a good sign for the Royals today. 0-4 on the road. But the Giants, they don't give you much to work with here. 4-10 their last 14. 1-6 their last 7 home games. But when Cueto's on the mound at home, they are 6-1. And he is 31-15 his last 46 starts. So tough to bet against Cueto, but don't see value in the parlay here. Certainly don't see any value in the dog. Saw a little bit of value in the under, but Royals 4 straight overs, 5 straight overs on the road. Leaves me leery. And Cueto 7-1-2 to the over his last 10 home starts. So I think you got to pass this game, not seeing too much of an edge either way. So that'll bring us to another game that we've been playing the past 3 days, and we're going to play it again here today. The Atlanta Braves, and they are at the Washington Nationals. Rourke on the mound for the Nats. Tehran on the mound for the Braves. And Rourke opens up $1.60 favorite. Total opens up 9.5 under. Rourke's still about $1.60 favorite. $1.60 to $1.70 favorite. And I did tie the Nationals up in a parlay again, just like we did yesterday and the day before. So we're going to tie them in as well with San Diego today on a two-team parlay. San Diego and the Nationals, two-team parlay for, that is the one executive play today, not just San Diego. I'm sorry about that. It is San Diego and Washington in a parlay, a two-teamer. So the Braves, why am I riding Washington? Because the Braves have won 3 games in 27 at Washington. And they already got their win in this series. So I don't think it's going to happen again today. And they are 14-38 overall the last 52. And Tehran on the mound versus Washington, 0-8. So you got to keep riding this Washington. Last 4 road starts in Washington, 0-4. Obviously, he's 0-8. So unfortunately, nothing unfortunate. Sorry. The Nats are 5-0 with Rourke on the mound versus the Braves as well, and the Braves are 28-60 during the 3rd game of the series, 1-4 their last 5 overall. But that was the unfortunate. Braves are 4-0 in Tehran's last 4 road starts. But as I said, he has not done well at all versus the Braves, so Washington is tied up into the parlay. The over should be another play here today. Once again, opened up at 9. Now it's at the 9.5, so it's not as nice as a play. 9 is the keyest number in baseball when you're talking American League, but this is obviously an interleague game. But 9, more games land on 9 than any other number in baseball. Nats are 26-11 and Rourke's 37 starts, 14-6 his last 20 home starts. So lots of reasons to tie up those Nats here today for you. And certainly there's always reasons to play the over. Tehran, 4 out of his last 5 road starts have gone over. And Braves on the road, 37-18-2. But the Nats on an under run right now, 7-2, 8-2-1. Their last 11 at home. Head-to-head, though, 17-5 the last 22 meetings to the over. So I see it's still a little bit of an edge for the over. Not as strong of a play, but I will use that as a 3-unit diamond play today. Next game on the board is going to be another executive play for me here today. We'll get to that shortly. It's the Colorado Rockies. They are at the Pittsburgh Pirates. Marquez on the mound for the Rockies. Cool on the mound for the Pirates. Cool actually Marquez opens up a $1.07 favorite and gets a little bit of steam as he's up to a $1.15 favorite for the Rockies on the road. The total opens up 9 under. Then it goes down to 8.5, and now we still got 9 under, so the total's getting mostly 9s. There's still a couple 8.5s hanging out there. Rockies are 5-17 the last 22 meetings, and that has showed as they're 0-2 right now. 2-11 in Pittsburgh, and but 7-3 their last 10 overall, and 13-6 their last 19 road games versus a righty. But they're 3-8 when they play a team with a losing record on the road. And the Pirates come in with 4 straight wins overall, but Cool is a cold 1-5 in his last 6 starts. Rockies do come in with a 5-1 record when Marquez is on the mound. His last 6 starts, so we'll see maybe a little bit of an edge for the Rockies. I'm not seeing the steam. I'm seeing the play on the under as 5-1-1 for Colorado, the last 7 to the under. And I am also seeing an under umpire with Conroy on the mound, 19-6-1. His last 26 games behind the plate have gone under. And the last 16 meetings that these two teams have played in Pittsburgh have gone under 11 times, 2 overs, and 3 pushes. So I will be riding this game under today with Colorado and Pittsburgh. The total is, if you can get the 9, grab it, guys. There's 9 out there. I know you don't have a lot of options sometimes. I'm still playing it at the 8.5. Next game on the board, it's going to feature a home-and-home game. Last night, Phillies were at Boston. Tonight, Boston at Philadelphia. Do I see value in the Red Sox on the road here? I really don't today. You know I'm always looking to find a reason to play against Philadelphia, but not today. Even though the Red Sox have won 29 out of the last 40 meetings, that's why we played them yesterday, Johnson opens up for the Red Sox at $1.26 favorite. Not too much movement there today on that. Total gets steamed from 9.5 up to 10, so we got some play on the over. And the Red Sox are 5-2 in Philadelphia, 13-3 their last 16 versus a right-handed starter, 4-1 their last 5 overall, 10-4 following a win, 36-15 in the interleague games, and 125-53 interleague games versus a right-handed pitcher. Why would I not want to jump on that? Because I think this might be the one spot for Philadelphia. 6-2 their last 8 home games versus a left-handed starter, 7-1 when Hellickson's on the mound at home, 9-4 when Hellickson's pitching overall. This is a place where Philly expects to win. So when they get in there, there might be a spot for them. So it doesn't mean I'm going to be betting them today. Just means I'm not tying up Boston in the parlay. Why did this game get steamed to the over? 5 out of the last 6 interleague road games for the Red Sox have gone over. 11 out of 16 versus a righty on the road have gone over. Philly's 6 straight overs in the interleague. 6-1 versus a lefty in an interleague game. 4 out of 5 home games versus a lefty to the over. Why am I not playing it over and joining the steam and having fun with the party? 4-1-1 to the under. The last 6 overall, 9-3-2 to the under for Hellickson, his last 14 starts. I will pass this party on, and I'll move on to the next party, which is going to be the Tampa Bay Rays playing the Toronto Blue Jays. Odorizzi on the mound versus Liriano. Liriano's opens up $1.30 favorite for the Blue Jays. Now he's $1.40. Total 9.5 under 15. The Rays 21-49 on the road versus a team with a winning record. Odorizzi 1-7 following a quality start. 1-4 on the road versus the Blue Jays. Definitely not feeling any love today for the Rays. Blue Jays 10-1 their last 11, after scoring 2 runs or less. I'd like to see that. And they have a bad game, they don't put the runs on the board. They bounce back the next day. 6-1 following a loss, which kind of shows in that same number. 15-7 at home, 4 straight home wins for Liriano, 5 straight wins overall for him. So I see some edge for Toronto, $1.40 favorite. Didn't pull the trigger on him today, but I definitely see some edge in that. Over has hit for the last 6 in Tampa Bay games, 13-3 on the road. So we're always looking to play a Tampa Bay game over on the road. And they're 20-8 to the over following a win. But why am I not there today? Odorizzi on the mound. Man, I'm going to get that name right. Under 7-2 on the road his last 9 starts. So it's the only spot that Tampa Bay seems to go under on the road. So, and he's 11-4 overall, so can't play that today. The Blue Jays are 6-2-1 to the under their last 9 overall, but Liriano has pitched in 4 straight overs, but 6 out of his last 8 have gone under at home. So I can't see much love for that over, and especially when I have an under umpire behind the plate with Eric Cooper, who is 26-10-1 in his last 37 games. So I'm going to leave this game alone here today and just move us on to the next game on this board, which will be the Arizona Diamondbacks with Walker on the mound facing the Detroit Tigers, and Zimmerman, who is opened up $1.07 favorite and is the steam of the day right now, up to $1.35. I could kind of see that seem like a little bit of a cheap price there for the Tigers, who have done well, but the D-backs are a terrible road team, but they're hot right now, 6-1. Their last 7 games overall. So, so odds makers brought the price down a little bit, but the pros are saying, no, it's not going to happen today. We're going to play him. So, because D-backs 1-7 on the road in interleague games, but Walker's 5-2 their last 7 starts for the D-backs. Detroit comes in, fantastic interleague record, 88-37, 1-4 their last 5 overall, 0-4 their last 4 interleague games with a righty. And Zimmerman, though, has 4 straight home starts, but he's 2-5 his last 7 starts. So I can't see much of this game. I could see why they steamed Detroit back up, because Arizona is such a poor road team. I don't think I want to back that today. The over has hit 7 out of the last 8 for the D-backs, and the Tigers 4 out of their last 5, and 11 out of the last 14 home interleague games. But the D-backs are not an over road team, but this could be a spot for them, as Zimmerman has been an over, 16-6-1 his last 23 starts, and 12-3-1 at home. 4 out of 5 together have gone over, and 5 out of 7 in Detroit have gone over. And Woodring, he is 4-1-2 to the over his last 7 games behind the plate. So probably a little bit of an edge for the over, but not enough to pull the trigger for me today. So I'll move on to the next game where I'm going to pull the trigger once again on the New York Mets. And obviously the over. Yes, I passed both the Braves and the Mets over yesterday, and it turned out to be a split out. I'm not going to pass it today. I think today we probably might get them both, so it's another 3-unit play. It's a diamond play for me today, the Cubs and the Mets. And the game opens up with the Cubbies minus $1.06 up to $1.30 against Matt Harvey. And the total opens up at 9 over, minus 20. Gets bet down to 9 right now, so not much activity. A little bit on the under just to get it off that over. But I'm still riding with the over in this play. Will the Cubs, after finally smacking around the Mets for the first time in a long time, be able to do that again tonight? Because they are 3-10 the last 13 meetings, 1-7 in New York, and last night being that one. 2-5 their last 7 overall, 1-9 their last 10 road games. But once again, they finally got some bats, and they finally got them on the road. So we got to be a little leery of the Cubs here today. Mets, though, 4-1 their last 5 overall, but 2-5 at home, and 2-8 in Harvey's last 10 starts. So not feeling too much love for the Mets. Tough to just jump on the Cubs because they finally got some bats right now. The Cubs, they've been a dead under, 13-6 to the under. We've been talking about that, but today I believe they are going to get themselves in an over matchup. Matt Harvey, 5-0-1 to the over at home, 8-3-2 to the over his last 13 starts. And as we know, the Mets at home, 20 overs, 8 unders, and 5 pushes this year. So, and 3-1-1 last 5 in New York. So I'll be playing this over as a diamond play, a 3-unit diamond play. I will not be playing this game, but I see a nice solid edge for 3 units on the over with the Cubs and the Mets of 9. Next game on the board is the Dodgers, and they are playing the Indians. Dodgers make a nice little score for us last night. Help us in that parlay. Don't think that's the spot for him today because Kubler is on the mound. I almost decided to play Kubler and throw him in the parlay, but I just ruled against it just a little bit because the Dodgers are a little bit of a decent team, and they could, they've won 5 straight games overall. They've won 4 straight in Cleveland. They've won 9 games of the last 12 versus a team with a winning record, and McCarthy is 9-4 his last 13 starts. That's why I'm not playing Kubler tonight. Dodgers, though, are 2-5 when McCarthy is on the road. So definitely not feeling too much love there for Dodgers there tonight. Indians, Kubler. Indians are 4-0 their last 4 home games versus a righty. Kubler 21-5. 21 his last 26 starts. So don't want to bet against him. 13-6 in the interleague. Dodgers 4 straight overs, but McCarthy's 6-1 to the under on the road. Indians 10-3 to the over in the interleague home games versus a righty. 13-5 interleague home games overall. But Kubler 4-1 to the under his last 5 starts. 5-2 to the over the last 7 meetings. And Hoy on the behind the plate 3-1-1 to the over. So don't want to bet Kubler, don't want to bet the Dodgers. Actually want to pass this game away here today. There are some decent numbers for both teams, but it's time to move on to the next game. We got to ask ourselves, will the Houston Astros get swept here against the Texas Rangers here today? Cashner on the mound for the Rangers, and Martz on the mound for the Astros. Opening up a $1.45 favorite, bet up to $1.60. So a little bit of steam on the Astros. Players assuming that they will not get swept. Total goes from 9.5 to 10, so a little bit of steam on the over. Rangers 6 straight road wins, 5 straight overall. And Houston 1-4 their last 5 home games. Sure, you're going to get a good number for Houston every day, 40-18 their last 58 overall. But 1-4 their last 5 home games, looking possibly to get swept here today. The under has probably, I'm not seeing the steam on the over. I'm thinking the under a little bit here today because you got a 9 and a hook. 6 straight unders for the Rangers, 7 for them on the road, 5 for them versus a righty. And Cashner, 5 out of 6 road unders, 8-3 his last 11 starts. So not seeing much of the over. I see a little bit of a value on the under until we get to Manny Gonzalez, who is 35, 13-3 his last 51 times he was umping behind the plate to the over. So that's why I will stay off the game, but I think the edge is on the under. The only spot is the umpire, and he has, out of those 51 games, he's got 13 unders. This could be 14. So let's move over to the next game on the board. Baltimore Orioles playing the Chicago White Sox. Bundy on the mound for the Orioles. Gonzalez on the mound for the White Sox. Orioles getting a little bit of steam, going from $1.15 to $1.25 favorite. White Sox total is from 10.5 steamed, from 10.5 under to 9.5. Baltimore comes in 6-20 on the road, 3-14 on the road versus a righty, 0-6 overall. So not looking to play them. And Bundy, when he's on the mound, 1-5. So I certainly don't see this steam whatsoever on Baltimore. And White Sox 8-3 their last 11 home games, but they're 4-9 overall. Gonzalez 6-1 at home, but 1-7 his last 8 starts. So tough to be back in either side of these teams. Tough to really play the total. 4 out of the last 5 for the Orioles. On the road to the over. They've been on the road. 11-4-1 though to the under when Bundy is on grass. And the over is certainly the flavor for the White Sox when they play against a starter with a whip less than 1.15. 42 overs, 20 unders, and 4 pushes. Gonzalez is 5-1 to the over, his last 6 starts overall. And when Walcott is behind the plate, 5-1 to the over. Once again, not seeing too much in either side of these two plays. So we'll move on to the next game. And this has been the team that's been steamed over and over dramatically the last few days. And now they open them up at 10.5, and that's the Minnesota Twins, who are at home with Santana on the mound, playing the Mariners. And Gaviglio on the mound for the Mariners. Total is 10.5 under. Minnesota goes from $1.42 favorite to $1.30 favorite, so Seattle gets the steam. But because Mariners 4-1 on the road, their last 5 road games, 11-5, their last 16 overall, and Gaviglio 4-1 his last 5 starts. So I could see a little bit of an edge for Seattle here today. And the Twins 1-5 at home, 1-4 when Santana's on the mound at home. And they're a terrible team at home altogether, 22-54 versus the right-handed pitcher. So I see a little bit of an edge for Seattle as a nice, small little underdog. The over is hit for 3 out of the last 4 road games, with 1 push in there for Seattle. 5-0-1 for Minnesota, their last 6 home games to the over. 12-4-1 to the over for Santana's last 17 starts. And on grass, 20 overs, 7 unders, and a push. 4 out of 5 head-to-head have gone over, but we got a small umpire trending with Gibson, 5-2 his last 7 behind home plate. Do I want to ride that over train with Minnesota right now? 10.5, they put the number at the right number. Didn't hit 11 yet today. There might be a little something in the over, but I think the 10.5 is too much for me to get involved. So, next game on the board, Minnesota Brewers, and they are at the St. Louis Cardinals. And Garza is on the mound for the Brewers. Leak on the mound for the Cardinals. I was very close to pulling the trigger on the Cardinals and throwing them in the parlay as the Brewers are terrible against the Cardinals. Cardinals 38-18, the last 56. And Garza, terrible against the Cardinals by 2-5, his last 7 starts them. The Brewers, terrible when Garza's on the road. They're 5-13 when he pitches on the road. So lots of reasons to be playing Minnesota, finding a way to throw St. Louis in a parlay. They're minus $1.65, went up to $1.70. Totals 9 under, minus 20. Not too much movement there. But I did not pull the trigger because Leak 1-5, his last 6 starts, 2-12, his last 14 home starts. So you can't pull the trigger on that. Cardinals are hot though, 6-1 at home, 4 out of the last 5 overall. So there's probably a little value in there. if you want to find something, a way to throw them in a parlay. The over is hit for the Brewers following a win 19 times out of the last 29, and 18 out of the last 29 have gone over when Garza starts versus a team with a losing record. So, but the under is 5-2 for the Cardinals in their last 7 overall. 14-3 to the under for Lika's last 17 starts. 6-2 to the under at home, and Siegel on the, behind the plate 5-1 to the over. So leaving that one alone as well, and let's just move right on to the last game on the board for today. The New York Yankees with Pineda on the mound, going to the Los Angeles Angels with a Shoemaker on the mound. Pineda opens up a $1.38 favorite, pretty much hovering somewhere right around there, $1.35 to $1.40. And the total, 8.5 under was the opener. It gets a little steam, actually, a little, because we got 7.5 over, 8 under. So total open up 8 under, not 8.5 under, my bad. So the Yankees, 19-7 the last 26 against the Angels, 6 out of the last 7 overall, 9-2 in Pineda's last 11 starts. Why aren't I jumping on them Yankees? Shoemaker is 9-1 at home, 5-1 his last 6 starts overall. Keeps me away from tossing them in the parlay. The Yankees are 4 straight unders on the road, but 7 out of 10 overs on grass and 4 out of 5 overs when Pineda's on the mound. The Angels are 20 unders, 3 overs and 3 pushes versus the American League East, 5-2 to the under their last 7. So why aren't I playing it under? Shoemaker 7-1-1 to the over his last 9 home starts, 4-1 his last 5 starts overall. So it's been Angels and over when Shoemaker's been on the mound. The under has hit 10 out of the last 13 meetings. 2 of them were pushes, so not many overs to find in this matchup. 18-7-1 to the under in L.A. And they got an under umpire with Jerry Davis tonight, 7-2-1 his last 10 games behind the plate. And that'll do it for today's rundown of all your Major League Baseball with BettorCenter. Let me go and leave you. Before I go, let me leave you with today's plays one more time. I have 2 diamond plays. The first diamond play will be the Cubs and the Mets. Over 9 for 3 units. 3-unit diamond play. I will also be playing the Atlanta Braves and the Washington Nationals. Over 9.5. Another 3-unit play. Then we will be playing in the executive games today 2 10-unit plays. The first one will be a parlay, and that's going to feature the San Diego Padres and the Washington Nationals, a 2-team parlay. And 10 units will pick you up about 18.5 units on that 2-teamer. And then we're going to make a straight play with the under with the Rockies and the Pirates, and the total is 8.5. So that'll be it for today. Hopefully, we got you a pocket full of winners. We'll talk about it again tomorrow. Win or lose, we'll be here. This is Louis Diamond with another episode of BettorCenter Live.